My husband was cold towards me, but showered our daughter with love. I endured his behavior for our daughter's sake. One day, I accidentally overheard a call between my daughter and my husband. My daughter must have mistakenly put him on speaker because his voice carried outside the room. "Put medicine in your mom's food." I was shocked. I had never done anything to be drugged and couldn't believe he'd ask our child to do such a thing. I was too shocked to do anything. The next morning, my husband suddenly collapsed during the meal. My daughter's eyes went wide as she whispered, "Mommy, I'm so sorry." My name is Karen, a 35-year-old stay-at-home mom. I married my husband, Bob, 10 years ago and became a mom to one child 3 years later. Time flies, and our daughter, Lucy, will be starting elementary school this spring. We decided to let her start piano lessons she'd been pleading for since this spring break. And as a combination entrance and lesson gift, we gave her a kid's cell phone to keep in touch before and after lessons. "Okay. Always contact me when the lesson ends. Pressing this button will open the email, all right. In an emergency, use this one, it's the phone button, okay." I got it, Mom. I always watch your smartphone, so it's easy. Lucy, do your best in practice. Seeing her say this with a smile, I softly smiled, thinking about how fast kids grow. In this way, my days with my daughter were nothing but happiness. However, I had a certain concern. It was my relationship with my husband. Lately, whether due to stress at work or not, he had been increasingly cold towards me. "The house is a mess. What's the point of being a stay-at-home mom? You're probably slacking off. Really useless, worthless." I was told words like this almost every day. His domineering attitude started to show, and he no longer spoke kind words to me. This wasn't merely excused by stress from work. It felt like he might have lost interest in me altogether. Moreover, for the past few months, he had been going out drinking with his work buddies more often, coming home very late. Initially, I was displeased with the continuous dining out. However, now I feel nothing at all. Even without my husband, my daughter and I can enjoy our meals, so I was fine with that. When I talk to my mom friends about this, invariably, they'd say to ditch such a husband. However, I couldn't simply cut ties with my husband. Because even though he was cold to me, he consistently showed love and care towards our daughter. "Lucy, have you been working through the workbook I got you for spring break?" "Yeah, I'm all done." "Oh, really? That was quick. Good job. Here, I bought your favorite candy as a reward." "Yay, thanks, Daddy." Lucy, in her own way, seemed to be very attached to her father. So, I had been putting up with my domineering husband, as long as our daughter was happy. Then, one day something happened. After finishing dinner at the table with Lucy, as usual without my husband, I went to the balcony to bring in and fold the laundry. Between the balcony and living room is Lucy's room. As I was passing by, I heard voices coming from her room. It seemed like she was on the phone with someone. From the way she was speaking, it seemed like the person on the other end was her father. He was supposed to be working overtime. I wondered if there was some kind of emergency that he needed to communicate to Lucy. My curiosity piqued. I stopped in front of Lucy's room. We had told her to email us when her lessons were finished, but we rarely let her use the phone. Presumably, she wasn't very familiar with how to use it, because accidentally she had it on speaker mode. And I could hear my husband's voice loud and clear, even through the door. Huh? Did Daddy's voice just get louder? Nope. Nothing like that. You're being weird, LOL. Well, never mind, listen closely, this is important. Okay, what? What I heard next from my husband left me speechless. Put some medicine in Mommy's food. Daddy will give it to you next time. Medicine? What's that? Is that okay to do? If Daddy says it's okay, it's okay. If you do as you're told, I'll buy you whatever you want. Really? Yay, really. Candy, games, anything you want. What did he mean by medicine? I had no clue, but it was clear from his tone that it wasn't anything good. I was in shock. I knew my husband was fed up with me, but I couldn't recall doing anything that would warrant being drugged. Moreover, asking our child to do such a thing was inconceivable. But I don't want to do weird things to Mommy. Little Lucy seemed to realize that it was something wrong, unusually resisting her dad's request. Being generally an understanding child and seldom defiant, her behavior strung a tense chord within me. If you can't listen to Daddy, no more treats for you, okay? And I'll take away your cell phone, too. No, I don't want that. Then, be a good girl. But I don't want to give medicine either. This back and forth continued for a few times. Gradually, Lucy's voice trembled into tears. Unable to bear hearing more, I reached for the doorknob to her room. That's when it happened. Ah, forget it, it's annoying. I'll do it myself. Dad's shouting voice echoed. Oh, okay. Lucy replied in a shrunken voice. Just make sure you don't tell Mommy or anyone else about this, got it? Good girl, I'm hanging up now, good night. Then, the beep beep sound indicating the end of the call echoed. Stunned, I stayed immobile for a moment. Earlier I almost opened the door on impulse, but once calmed, I was unsure how to address Lucy in this situation. It's late, and I thought to take the night to ponder and talk to Lucy calmly tomorrow. But first, I should confront my husband about the call, that's what I resolved. While contemplating, I awaited my husband's return. Lately, I've been frankly fed up with my husband's attitude, but there's no reason he'd try to take my life with drugs. And I don't recall ever being subjected to such malice. Had I unintentionally done something to hurt his feelings without noticing? Or was it all a misunderstanding, and he was talking about the medication because I have allergies or something? But no matter how much I pondered, the answer eluded me, going around in circles. In the end, that day, despite waiting and waiting, my husband didn't come home. Around midnight, I somehow fell asleep. The next morning, an incident occurred. As usual, I laid out breakfast for 3 and went to wake up our daughter. The sound of an alarm clock was coming from my husband's room, so at first glance, it was a typical morning. However, when my daughter and I returned to the living room, my husband rushed into the bathroom as if to avoid us. Given yesterday's incident, I was actually a bit wary of my husband, but perhaps he felt the same way towards me. And I didn't know what face to show to our daughter. Despite it supposedly being a normal time, I can't recall what conversations we usually had. An awkward silence flowed between my daughter and me amidst such stilted time. Gathering my courage and looking at my daughter's face, she too had a somewhat sullen expression. "What's wrong? Are you not feeling well?" I hurriedly spoke to her. My stomach hurts a little." "Oh, really? I'll go get you some medicine then," I said and stood up, heading to the kitchen to look for children's stomach medicine. Where did I put it? Ah, here it is. Almost simultaneously as I found the medicine, my husband returned from the bathroom. Avoiding my face, he hastily sat down at the table and began voraciously eating his breakfast. "Here's your medicine." When I spoke from behind my daughter, she jolted her shoulders. "I'm sorry, did I startle you?" "Why, yeah. After you eat, let's take this, okay?" "Yeah." My daughter responded absent-mindedly, staring intently at my husband eating his breakfast without blinking. The next moment, "Echo!" my husband moaned and collapsed. What's going on?" "Ah." As I rushed over in surprise, my husband was fallen, foaming at the mouth. "Call 911, 911. I quickly grabbed my smartphone and called for help. Not wanting to expose my daughter to such a shocking scene, I told her to stay in her room. When I looked at my daughter's face, she murmured, "The medicine," and widened her eyes. "Ah, the medicine, yes." I handed her the stomach medicine, gently pushed her back, and urged her to return to her room. Shortly after, the EMTs arrived, and my husband was taken to the hospital. They offered me to ride along, but I told them I'd follow later, since I had our daughter with me, and let them transport my husband first. After seeing off the ambulance, I hurried to my daughter's room, where she ran to me, crying, "Mommy, I'm sorry. It was Lucy's fault." "Huh. I couldn't grasp the meaning behind my daughter's words. Then she began to explain in a gentle cascade of words. Daddy said he was gonna put medicine in your food, and Lucy got scared. So Lucy switched Daddy's and Mommy's meals. It turned out that while my husband went to the bathroom and I was searching the kitchen for the medicine, my daughter had switched our meals. I reflected on the conversation between my daughter and husband yesterday over the phone. I couldn't believe that it actually happened. He must have mixed the medicine into the meal while I was waking our daughter. I was horrified. My daughter was bawling her eyes out. Lucy, I'm so sorry you were scared. You did nothing wrong. Thank you for protecting Mommy. Daddy will be all right too. Yo. I tenderly embraced my daughter, who continued sobbing heartbreakingly. She must have been suffering so much. The shock my daughter felt being instructed to drug me, her own mother, by her father must have been immeasurable. My fury erupted more at the fact that he'd tried to make our daughter do this than at my husband's betrayal. How could he make our beloved daughter go through this? And I was also disgusted with myself for not taking action immediately despite knowing she was in pain. Had I had a serious talk with my husband yesterday, perhaps it wouldn't have come to this. This thought made my chest tighten. I resolved that I would punish that man with my own hands, so our daughter wouldn't get hurt anymore. Considering my daughter's mental state, I left her with my parents and headed to the hospital where my husband was taken. Upon arriving and hearing the doctor's explanation, I shuddered. They detected a substance, generally considered a potent drug, in my husband's stomach. Though not in a lethal dose, fortunately saving his life, it was said it could have been dangerous if the report was a bit later. After hearing those words from the doctor, I decided to divorce my husband. I couldn't let my daughter live with someone capable of such a horrifying act. Without visiting my husband's hospital room, I immediately went back to my parents' place and confessed everything. My parents were astoundingly shocked and furious, strongly encouraging me to divorce. Afterward, I prepared the divorce papers and visited my husband's hospital room. Hey, did I collapse? Yes, right after breakfast. Saying so, I handed the completed divorce papers in front of him. Then, glaring, my husband spoke. Are you kidding me? Why the divorce? Explain. Who's kidding? You explain. Then, I bluntly confronted my husband. You put a lethal drug in my breakfast, didn't you? Huh? What are you talking about? His eyes darted around, clearly flustered. I continued calmly. The drug was found in your body. However, my husband, perhaps thinking I was not yet convinced, quickly retorted, What are you talking about? I'd never do something like that. Plus, why do I have to be the one collapsing from it? Are you sure you didn't spike the drink? There's no way I'd do such a thing. Besides, I have no idea where to get such drugs. You must have used the ones I was hiding." The husband bit his lip, realizing he'd slipped up. I was genuinely thankful I had thought to turn on my voice recorder just in case. "You were hiding drugs, huh?" "No, that's not. It's no use denying it. Everything is recorded." "What?" "Also, I've already called the authorities." Ray reported. At these words, the husband visibly paled, sweating profusely. "Nah, surely not," he mumbled, but the opening of the hospital room door brought him back to reality. "Look, they're here to hear the details," I said. Standing there were several police officers. Yes, I had reported to the police before coming here. They collected the soup he had been eating and tested it. Sure enough, it contained the same potent drug found in his system. When the police revisited and searched our home, they found a small bottle containing the lethal drug in his work bag. After that, upon being discharged, the husband was taken into custody. With my testimony, our daughters, and the damning recording of him admitting to hiding the drugs, he was arrested for attempted harm. According to his statement, he had been having an affair for a while and wanted to divorce me. But fearing he'd be at fault in the divorce due to the current circumstances, he contemplated killing me. Upon hearing this, not only I but also both our parents were furious. Having our daughter administer the drug and framing her was beyond any sane person's actions. His parents went to the arrested son and disowned him. I divorced him, claiming alimony and child support. Of course, I also demanded compensation from his mistress. My now convicted ex-husband won't be out for quite a while, but when he does come out, I ensured he's restrained from approaching me and our child. My daughter and I fled to my parents' home. After being visibly down for a few weeks following the incident, come April and the start of school, my daughter, showing many more smiles, made some friends. "Mom, today I played the piano in music class, and I was praised by the teacher and friends." "That's amazing. I'm so happy for you." "Yo, I want to get even better at the piano." "Let's do it, honey." Seeing her smile like that, I knew the emotional scars ran deep. But I was resolved to heal them with my utmost care and responsibility.